Go ahead and pick your dookie chicken, go do what you do best. Go ahead and pick your dookie chicken and the tigers will do the rest. Take the fish out of water and try to make it drive the car.
Yes, that is the intro, the brand new intro to the Not Bobby Durkins channel. Hey, I'm Brian Knight. I am not Bobby Durkins, at least not right here. If you're brand new here, hit the subscribe button. I talk about college football, especially Clemson football, but college football. Hit the thumbs up, helps in the algorithm. So I started out about last week going over the college football schedule week by week. Now we're going to work on week number 2. This is the preview. Now in week 0, not much there. I mean, Hawaii plays at Vanderbilt. Who cares? But it's college football, you know? Week 1, we see games like Florida at Utah. LSU and Florida State gets together in Orlando. Clemson plays a really weird conference game at Duke on the Monday night, the Labor Day weekend. So this particular week has its ebbs and flows, and we're going to dive right into that. Once again, if you're brand new here, please hit the subscribe button. If you've never subscribed, subscribe and hit the comment button. Leave some comments in here. I've had a lot of people comment just on absolutely stupid things. Also, just to let you know, I am pulling my schedule that I will be sharing with you tonight from FBSschedules.com 2023 college football schedule. I've left that link in the body of right below the video. So go ahead. You can click on that. Keep it. I'm not seeing where I can create an Excel file to where I can just download these. There's probably something somewhere else that I can do that. If you know about that, please let me know. I know there's been some other applications you could use in the past, but if you know about that, please share it with me. Parker Henderson is in here. What is up, Parker? Folks, with that said, I am going to paste the live stream link. Parker, if you want to hop in, I'd love for you to hop in. I have 5 people in here right now. Hit the thumbs up and get on in here. Listen, if you don't want to turn your camera on, folks, that is totally fine. The only thing I will ask is that we will keep this clean. Try to stay off politics if you possibly can. And let's try to keep this family friendly. If you just can't abide by that and you start going off the rails, unfortunately, I'm going to have to kick you off the stream. So anybody who wants to get in here. So I am going to go ahead and share my screen, and we're going to talk about week 2 of the 2023 college football season. And this is going to be a lot of fun. Once again, the link to the live stream is in the comments section. Please click in. And real quick, before I go any farther, this coming Tuesday is a packed day for Not Bobby Durkins at 3 o'clock, unless something changes, folks. At 3 o'clock, always Irish, big Notre Dame fan, big Notre Dame YouTuber is coming on the show. He's going to talk about Notre Dame. Well, of course, we're going to talk about the big battle in November with Notre Dame coming to Clemson. I'm going to ask him some questions like, why Marcus Freeman? I'm not going to ask the questions of, I'm going to ask some common questions. But I'm also going to ask him some hard questions. Why? Because I ask hard questions of my own team. But he's a cool dude. I know he'll be ready for that. And then that night, this is crazy. I told you it's going to be a show pack-filled day. That night at 7 o'clock, I'm going to have Sports Talk Jay, one of the biggest Tennessee Volunteers. He's going to be coming on the show. John, he's going to be coming from on the show. We're going to talk about the volunteer football. This is going to be a lot of fun. And, we're going to jump on in there. So, Parker, if you want to hop in that StreamYard, click on that link. You don't even have to use your camera. Anybody else who wants to hop on. But until then, I am going to share the screen. We're going to talk about week 2 of the 2023 college football season. So, here we go. So, once again, this is from FBS Schedules. The link is left in the body below. So click on that. You can save it. So you should be seeing this now. So on September the 7th, it's a Thursday night. It's a game that, unless you're a Louisville fan, you could care less. But it's still college football. Still college football. Murray State at Louisville. We know Louisville is definitely favored in that one. The very next night, it's a Friday night, September the 8th. Yet again, another sleeper. Indiana State at Indiana. If Indiana loses that game, they just need to stick with basketball. Now we get into Saturday. Texas at Alabama. Now, I don't have to tell you about the storied history of both of these programs. I don't have to tell you that a lot of people believes that had Nick Saban went to Texas, Texas would be having the same success that Alabama has. There's a lot of people who will privately say that, because Texas, first of all, the road would be easier, because Texas, until now, they've now joined the SEC. Will go in what, in 2024? But in 2023 and before, they're in the Big 12. The road would have been easier for Saban. Not that he needed it with all the championships that he has. But Texas at Alabama, this game was a very close game last year in Austin, Texas. We know that at Texas, they have Quinn Ewers at quarterback, but they have a young man named Arch Manning sitting on the bench. Steve Sarkisian, things are starting to load up with him. You have to ask yourself, will Sark pull it together? Let me pause there right there and just talk about this for a second. You can be a fantastic coordinator and not be a head coach. And that's fine, because these coordinators calling plays for a game, they're making money hand over fist. Okay? You don't have to be the head coach. I know being the head honcho is what everybody wants to do. Everybody wants to be the head honcho. I get it. Want to own your own business, etc. But the question is, can Sark pull it together? He's going up against an aging Nick Saban. But like I said the other day, talking about Mac Brown and Nick Saban, they're not. There's not too much of an age difference there. Nick Saban still looks like he has a lot of fight. Mac, God bless him, looks like he's going through a lot. No offense to him. I like Mac Brown. Alabama is definitely the favorite in that one. Moving on. Now, I'm going to we have Louisville or Louisiana at Old Dominion. Who cares about that one? SC State at Georgia Tech. Here's another one. Texas A&M at Miami, Florida. Cristobal has his second season. George, thanks for getting in. Mario Cristobal has his second season. Everybody's wondering, what is this going to be like? Texas A&M, I think if Fisher does not show vast improvement this year, he's gone. He has Bobby Petrino running the offense. And I'm just going to say this. That if there's a scandal that comes out of this, no, nobody be shocked to death. Parker, I saw you were just in here and then you disappeared. Get back in here and I'll put you back on. There we go. One of my buddies here, one of the oldest supporters of Bobby Hurst, not Bobby Hurst, So I have Parker Henderson here. Parker, how's it going tonight?
Hey, man. Can you hear me?
I can hear you great. Can you hear me?
I can. Hold on.
Oh, there he is.
There I am.
There's one part of the glorious Henderson sisters, folks.
I
Parker,
am.
where are you located? Not that I want you to end up being, tracked down by a serial killer and murdered.
No, that's fine. I had the Second Amendment in my house, so I'm in Atlanta.
Yeah, you'll need the Second Amendment out there.
No, I'm in Atlanta. Well, everything. Well, I'm outside of Atlanta, but everything is Atlanta, if you want to call it that. So.
Well, that's awesome. Everybody, the Henderson sisters, as I like to call them, Parker and Chase, they're brothers, fantastic friends of the Bobby Durkins, Not Bobby Durkins show. Love college football. Let me tell you this. I've talked to these guys multiple times, hung out with them, went to football games with them. They love Clemson, but they love sports. They especially college football. So I'm glad Parker's in here. Parker, just hang out with me. I'm going over week 2.
Yeah. No, I got my drink in my Clemson rocks glass. So there it is. So
there we go.
It's all good. I'm just, I'm here.
Oh, well, I am glad you're here. Yes, George is going. Parker Henderson is in the house. Yes, he is.
Hey, George.
George, I'm worried for your health. I really am, George. I'm scared to
you.
death for you. Yeah, I'm worried for you. So I was just talking about, so we're on week 2. We got to the Saturday. There's Texas and Alabama. There's a lot of crunch going on with that one. But when we look at Texas A&M and Miami of Florida, there's a lot of moving parts there. You have a second-year Cristobal. You have a multi-year Jimbo Fisher who has underperformed, underdelivered, overpaid. They had a ton of great recruits, and now they're gone, and now they're reaching back for this, that, and the other. And you have Bobby Petrino running your show. Parker, if I was recruiting your son, and I was from Texas A&M, and you were worried about bad influences and character, would you let Texas A&M in your house?
Absolutely not. No, maybe the year prior to everything that went on. Now, if they were to come recruit my son after everything, I'd be like, no, Jimbo, you're cool and all, but Florida's calling, Clemson's calling. I have all these other people calling me, so we're good, buddy.
So. Yeah. I mean, here's the thing, folks, and I say this, understanding, and I'm the one who's beat this drum 100 times. College football is nothing more than a business. I know it's at colleges. I know it's at universities. It is nothing more than a business, and we understand that. But there does come a point just in everyday life that you put one questionable human being with another questionable human being, and then you want to try to convince me that nothing but everything's going to be just on the up and up. It's going to be fine. I'm sorry, I don't buy it. I do not buy it. I don't buy it. So that's going to be an interesting game. I think that it's bigger on paper and in history. Both teams are not good, but they're at 2 different places. Cristobal's second year. You have to give him some grace. On the other hand, Texas A&M, I'm just telling you, if he does not deliver this year, 9 or 10 wins, and his losses are close, he is gone. And they should drop him. They should drop him. So next up, these are games that are in week 2.
I'm looking at this, and the one that truly stands out to me, and I think it's going to be an upset, is Ole Miss and Tulane. You go down, it's like lower third, right there. Hold on, go back up.
Yes,
right there. Ole Miss at Tulane. I'm calling it right now. Tulane's going to upset Ole Miss. I'm just calling it.
Well, I would like that. Because I think that Tulane was not only one of the best stories of last year, I think it is one of the best stories in probably the past 15 years of football, because you never had a moment with Tulane last year where it was like everybody was going just overboard on them,
Yeah.
and just talk about, oh man, they're just so great, and they're so wonderful, and they're so awesome. Everybody was like, man, they're doing really good, and so
No, they
on.
did very well. Who is it? Willie Fritz still?
I think so. I
Willie
think
Fritz is
so.
the coach. So Willie Fritz was the coach of Georgia Southern when Georgia Southern was just running the Sun Belt there for a minute, and he's a great coach, and obviously he's doing well at Tulane. So I'm calling the upset on that.
Well, I would actually like to see that. I would like to I would like to see that upset. I think it would be good for Tulane. Transparently to anyone who's watching this video, I have not been able to look at exactly who Tulane has lost as far as their personnel. But if they're returning the majority of their team, they are returning their coach. I mean, you're looking at a team that could go in and do some really good things. The only thing is, if they're returning the majority of their team in staff and in players, people are not going to be shocked this year when they come in and play them. So that is one thing that you have to consider. But that would be a great game. I'm going to skip through some of these pissy games and just get to
Sorry,
a little.
that one just came up on me. I was like, God, I can just see that happening.
Yeah.
So.
What's your thoughts on SMU at Oklahoma? Now, before we give an answer here, I want to qualify for Oklahoma.
Okay.
A lot of people talks about Brent Venables went 6-7. He lost 49-0 to a Texas team that really did nothing.
It was a
amazing.
good 6-7 though.
Well, that's where I'm going here. So because they lost by 31 points to TCU. So you have those two big blowout games. After those two games, that's two games, folks. They lost one game by a touchdown.
Yeah.
They lost 4 games, including the bowl game, by 3 points.
Yeah, it was definitely a good 6-7.
You can recruit out of that, folks. You can recruit out of that, and I think he's the man to do it. The cupboard was barren when he got to Oklahoma. I mean, there's a reason why Stogner transferred from Oklahoma to South Carolina and now back to Oklahoma. Yeah. There's a reason, folks. So be careful with that SMU team. I would tell you that. Be careful with SMU. But I could see definitely Oklahoma pulling that one off, but it may not be a walk in the park.
Yeah, no, I agree. I guess it really just depends on how Venables prepares them. If he continues the way his season was ending, Oklahoma's going to be. Sorry, dropped my phone there. Oklahoma's going to be a problem. So, I mean, I think they'll pull it off against SMU for sure. And it's at Oklahoma too. So, like I said, if they continue the way the season was ending, even though it was like 6-7, yeah, they lost close or anything like that. Losing close it's manageable going into an off season. So, and that's where you fix things. So,
yeah,
it's the blowouts, consistent blowouts. It's hard to change. It's hard to fix.
Yeah, when you're dealing with, you look at 2 games. Okay, it was just like, you can't explain away a 49-0 loss to Texas. You can't.
No.
Even with the injuries, my friends.
And what were they playing with? Like a 4th string quarterback?
Probably.
I mean, man, I love Brent Venables to death, and kudos to him for dealing with all that. And the fact that he went 6-7 his first year at a prestigious school, football school that is, and I mean, I had a guy, Brian. I was at a gas station. I just left work, and I have a Clemson tag thing on my car, you know, and he goes, "Hey, man, hey." I was like, "Oh man," and I'm in Atlanta, so I'm like, "Oh crap."
Yeah.
All right, here we go. And he's like, "Hey, man, so you're a Clemson fan?" I go, "I sure am, definitely." You know. He goes, "Awesome. Well, hey, I'm actually an Oklahoma fan," and then I knew it was okay.
Oh yeah, you're fine then. At that point, yeah.
And I was like, "Oh, it's like Oklahoma." He's like, "Man, what do you think about Brent Venables?" I go, "He's that dude. He's gonna get it done." He's like, "Wow, you know, because I've had all these people say this, that, and the other." I'm like, "Listen, you know, you saw what he did at Clemson. This is his first season with Oklahoma. Like, you got to give him a chance." So, I mean, what was his first season at Clemson? What was his where it wasn't the best. I don't think we definitely didn't win a national championship. We didn't win an ACC championship, did we?
I don't think we did.
No,
but
we didn't.
I don't think we did.
But no, yeah, no. But moral of the story is, I was able to tell this guy, no, I mean, you gotta give him time. Got to give him time, and he'll do it. And the fact that he went 6-7 on a team that dipped out, like, I mean, yeah, that's not bad.
Well, if I'm wrong, and folks, please correct me. I know you will, and then you'll go on TigerNet or one of those publications.
Do it.
And they'll tell everybody about how I have my own channel and how stupid I am and that I don't know, what I'm talking about. But with that said, I have no clue what I'm talking about.
You don't.
Not even close. But I do believe that his first year was the year that we ended up playing against LSU in the Peach Bowl.
Okay, that was in Atlanta, right? Yeah. So
I do believe
and was that the fourth and 16?
Yes.
I was at that game.
Really?
I was.
Was Chase with you?
I don't know. I can't remember, dude. That was so long ago. I can't even remember anymore. I've been to a lot of games.
Yes, you've been to a lot of games. You've been to a lot of games. So, hey, everybody, I just want to throw this out there. If you want to hop on the stream, please hit.
Do it.
Go over there. Just go in there. If you don't want to be on camera, you turn your camera off.
Or keep it on, guys. Listen, I don't even remember that I was on here. I'm in here zoomed in on these games right here, just talking to Brian like a friend.
Yes, folks. So you
don't
just
even know I'm on camera.
He doesn't. I hope he remembers that if he goes to the restroom or something. But
oh yeah, thank you for the reminder.
Yeah, that'd be terrible. Let's hop back in here.
Yeah.
A really weird game, but not important. Purdue at Virginia Tech. That's an odd one.
That's a stalemate, I think.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get. Honestly, I want to give it to Purdue just because Purdue always wins weird games, and I never know who's on their team. Never.
Everybody, I hate to interrupt you here. I have yet another wonderful person who's joining us, and he's just as ugly as this one, and there's a reason for that. We have the Henderson. We have the Henderson sisters on here.
Howdy.
There he is. All right. Well, cheers.
They are. Chase, you said you're at a birthday party. Am I right?
Wow.
Yeah, I'm at a friend's kid's birthday party. It's winding down. Get the opportunity to jump on not Bobby Durkin's his stream. Might be a couple of drinks in, so hey, let's see where the night goes.
Everybody, just want to remind you that these two idiots are friends of mine. So whatever they should do tonight, well, that's my fault for being friends with them. So they have been great friends to Bobby Durkins and the Not Bobby Durkins show. Got a bunch of people in here. Let me see. Just talking smack. We got SEC Dog in here. One of my favorite Georgia fans. Thank you so much for hopping in here, George. I'm pretty sure you're selling belts at the flea market. I wish you the best.
I want him on here during the Tennessee-Georgia game.
Yes, that would be. Everybody, just to remind you that this coming Tuesday, yes, the day after Memorial Day, at 3:00, I'll have Always Irish on. My very first guest will be coming on the show. We're going to talk about Notre Dame football. We'll talk about the Clemson matchup. I'm going to ask him the question, why Marcus Freeman? Because I'm not sold on him. And then at 7:00 that night, I have Sports Talk Jay, big Tennessee volunteer YouTuber coming on the show. He's a fantastic person. He does a really good job on his graphics too. I could learn a thing or 12 from him. So everybody check that out. So guys, I'm looking over the 2023 schedule. We're week 2. Oregon at Texas Tech. What are our thoughts on this, Henderson sisters?
Who cares?
Speed kills, but nobody cares about West Coast. Let's be real.
That's true.
They're gonna have an immaculate Pac-12 season. And,
Mountain West is really, they're coming along. Wait, no, Who cares? They're west of the Mississippi. It's really just crap football.
Facts. Go Ducks.
Ah,
Hey, one cool fact. What's that dang movie that they filmed there, Chase?
Filmed where?
Oh my God. Never mind. I'll think of it. Continue.
That was
Folks,
a really good description for me to help you figure it out.
I know. God, no. National Lampoons, and I cannot think of it right now.
Vegas Vacation.
No. It's the college
Christmas
one.
Vacation.
No. All right.
Van
Wilder.
Wilder.
No.
Wilder.
No. Is it over when the Germans invaded Pearl Harbor? That one. I can't.
Oh, Animal House.
Thank you. God, that was going to kill me all night.
That was awful. That
was horrible.
Terrible.
Sorry,
Folks, I just want to let everyone know that is watching this currently and in the future. Sometimes when we're hanging out or we're just on the phone, I just sit and listen to these two argue. It's more entertaining than anything I've ever done.
Sorry, no, that was my bad.
No, I enjoy it. I enjoy it. Let's hop in here. Let's look at who else is in here. Haha, I guess I'm the doofus. Never watched a college football game. I'm just a troll. That's SEC dog. At least you know where you stand. We're glad you're here.
First step to recovery is admitting it.
That is true.
Halo Master. Hey Gator. I give Gomer Powell Napier 12 more games since recruiting has been a bust. What say you? I think that was a terrible hire for the University of Florida, but we'll see. John Smith. Venables is good defensive mind. I'm not sure if he's a head coach material.
I've been saying that for a long time. I agree with that, actually.
Well, I mean, I can agree with that, but he also Chase, you missed out on it. He went 6-7 his first season at a prestigious football school. He did well for what he had. He had players dip out on him.
Yeah, no, for real. For real, no, you're right.
No, but if you listen to Brent Venables talk, he's all X's and O's. He's not the front man.
If there is one guy that I would kind of be shocked that he would not end up being a good head coach, it would be him. But then again, I go back to what I said at the beginning of the show, and that is that sometimes these guys are fantastic coordinators. They are not head coaches, but they make so much money as a coordinator. I would trade places with them.
It's almost to your point. It's almost like you have a great defensive coordinator, and they're like, you know what, Betty, I can be a head coach. Turns out you can't be a head coach. The best thing you're good at is being an OC.
Which that's what you call a Wilmus champ.
Oh God.
Yeah. There's a lot to say there. Hey, Matthew, thank you so much for telling everybody to hit the like button. If you hadn't hit the like button, hit the like button. If you want to hit the thumbs down, I'm fine with it. I am totally fine. In fact,
I already did.
I do it every time just so he can get it out of the way. All right, folks, we're going to hop on in here. Oklahoma State at Arizona State, a sleeper of a game to a point.
Tell me about it. I don't know.
Sleeper. It's more like a sleepy game.
Sleepy game. Sleepy game. Let's see. Now let's skip on down. Man.
Barn burner, Vanderbilt, Wake Forest.
Vanderbilt and Wake Forest, folks. Henderson sisters, tell me what you're thinking about that wonderful game.
Well, there's going to be a collective minds of intelligence on the field.
No. I'm without Sam Hartman, I'm calling Vanderbilt for the win. You heard me say it.
I'm going Wake Forest. I think they're still a pretty good team.
No, that's fine. They are, but they also lost people. In Vanderbilt, you don't know what they lose and what they gain. So, they can.
The answer to that is they gain nothing, so they can't lose nothing.
Listen, they win with their brains. Okay, so, and I think that's only twice. Maybe.
Well, considering I'm ACC, positive, I'm going to go with the ACC.
Okay.
I believe that this would be one heck of a spelling bee, and I'm going to leave it at that, folks.
That's a good point.
That is a very good point. Hey, we got Matthew on here saying no thumbs down. Greetings, not Bobby from Conway. Yeah.
Oh, that's over here by me.
Yeah. Not too terribly far from the Chase. Can we say where you live?
I live nowhere.
He lives in Bangladesh, folks. You can tell by the accent. Yeah,
which
he's
is down here.
He's a gypsy.
Ooh,
That's
Augusta?
hurtful.
He's a gypsy.
Okay, I'll
He's
take it.
Okay, he's not gypsy. He's Peruvian. Is that better?
C.
E.
There we go. So yeah, we got Matthew from Conway. Matthew, I don't know if you saw the video I did the other day talking about the 3 top quarterbacks in the state of South Carolina. That is people can kind of forget. That,
Bobby, we saw one in person.
You did. We saw. We've all seen Klubnik at one point or another, but we did see. You and I saw Grayson McCall, and then me and Chase saw Spencer Rattler. He did get hurt that game, and still came out and balled like a man.
He did. That was a great game. Terrible atmosphere, but great game.
A terrible atmosphere. I was afraid somebody was going to try to touch me, and I'm gonna
Welcome to Atlanta.
Yeah. Chase, is there a pony at the kid's birthday party?
No. Well, there's a horse, but it's dressed like a unicorn.
Are you serious?
No.
Okay.
Is it Sarah Jessica Parker? Just kidding. All right.
Chase is trying not to laugh, I think.
Back to football. Sorry.
How did you? Where did you?
NC State's going to upset Notre Dame. I can see that happening. What?
Yes, we'll go with that. NC State.
We're going to just continue. Sorry.
Wait, didn't Sarah Jessica Parker go to Notre Dame?
I have no idea.
Let's look this up right now.
She didn't. No, that was a joke. Don't do that. That was a joke.
Nay.
This is going to be crazy.
She didn't go to college.
She might have.
Anyways.
No, she might have.
Hold
no,
on. Hey, listen, I shouldn't have said anything about SJP, okay?
Oh, what's his name?
Matthew Broderick.
No, not that one.
SEC dog. I honestly, I'd call your bet.
I'd take that bet.
Of like, I'd be there with you. I'd double it. I'd go $2.
You both have a deal.
I have no clue what we're seeing. Vanderbilt drilled Billy, Florida.
Field goal Billy.
Oh, I got you.
That's because they had Anthony Richardson.
Let me tell you this. If I'd ever had even a little bit of faith left in the NFL analysts, talent evaluators,
Horrible.
it was gone with Anthony Richardson.
Horrible.
And you know what it was that he was cutting backflips in the warm-ups. It's like, dude, that doesn't make you a great quarterback. A heck of a gymnast, maybe. Going back to let's go to Stanford and USC. Stanford
USC.
and
USC.
You can't help but.
I mean, it's Lincoln Riley's offense going up against Stanford.
The referees. I'm going to pick the referees.
Oh yeah,
it's still West Coast football.
I saw a thing, and they were like, it was like a group, and one of the group's messages said, "What's the biggest college rival?" And people were naming, South Carolina, Clemson, Georgia, Florida, blah blah blah. And I went, the refs versus any team.
Yeah.
I mean, because if any team loses, they're gonna be like, "Well, the refs." The refs.
Hey, we remember the night at the NC State game, Chase. I was wondering about the refs that game. Was it that game or the Louisiana Tech game?
It was a Louisiana Tech game where the guy that was sitting
I was
in
at
front
the
of
NC
me
State game.
Tried to tell me I didn't know what I was talking about.
Oh yeah, we saw
and then
him
was
again.
Then he was ushered away by his wife before he got embarrassed again.
Yeah, again. Okay, so here's context. So Chase was kind enough to invite me to go sit in the master section with him over at the Clemson game. Folks, these people rub your feet. They gave me counseling. I walked away with.
You paid extra for that one. That wasn't included in the ticket.
I did, and then
I'm the one that rubbed his feet.
He was the one that rubbed my feet. Soft hands, very soft hands,
like a baby.
So if anybody will go back to that Louisiana Tech game, at first it was like, oh, the officials are letting the receivers and the secondary duke it out. Okay, all right, that's fine. And then the officiating got to the point where DBs were tackling wide receivers, and then suddenly they could barely nickel wide receiver, and then they were throwing a flag. So Chase yells, "Go for it, Chase!"
What are we doing? Let's play some football. Why all of a sudden is this a thing?
Yes, and so
and
go for
a summarized version. It was summarized. And then the guy drunkenly turned around and said, "He tackled him." And mind you, this is a Clemson fan defending a Louisiana Tech fan.
Doesn't make
sense. I said, "No, he didn't. He deflected the ball, and they fell down after the ball deflected." "You don't know what you're talking about." "Oh, okay, cool, buddy. Where did you play college football?"
And he turned and he stayed turned around. He would not look back at Chase. I think his wife realized that he had way too many ranch waters.
It's easy to get that.
Yeah,
that's true.
In that section,
way too many ranch waters. Maybe he had, I don't know, some Boone's Farm out in the truck. He was too far. He'd gone way too far.
He was escorted out, but his kids stayed, and then they got in trouble for drinking.
Did they?
Wait, I was there.
I can't remember.
Oh, that was you, Parker. Okay.
Yeah. Anyways,
let's hop back in here. Let's go to that Notre Dame NC State game.
Yeah, Notre Dame NC State, man. That honestly, that's gonna be a great game. I think it's gonna be.
Who's the quarterback for either team?
Brennan Armstrong, the transfer from Virginia, is now playing for NC State, which I don't know why you're going to transfer.
I'm going NC State. I'll vote NC State.
And wait, you got Sam Hartman at Notre Dame.
Yeah, Sam Hartman.
Oh, wait. So, that's right. Sam Hartman. Ooh, that's a coin flip, actually.
Yeah.
I think that would be a good game.
I think NC State's defense, I mean, they've been, the last couple of years, they've been pretty good. I mean, defensively.
They got embarrassed by DJ Uyunglele. So I don't really say much for them.
Let's just pause right there. We spent time trying to learn that guy's name. He came, he left, and most of us, including yours truly, cannot say his name correctly.
So unfortunately, it's no disrespect for him, but I would just call him DJ Ukulele.
DJU.
DJU, yep. Ukulele. Yeah.
I feel like that's more disrespect. I mean, still, he's a man. DJ, at least try it, you know. But if anything, DJU.
The Samoan singer who sang "Somewhere Over the Rainbow" was also a man.
Yeah, he was, and he was good. R.I.P.
Yes, and he played a ukulele. So how is that disrespectful?
Well, his name doesn't rhyme with ukulele.
Folks, this is the reason why I hang out with these two scholars. It's for great moments like this. For anyone who's paying attention, Notre Dame will be paying a visit to the states of North Carolina and South Carolina. One time to Clemson, South Carolina in November, but they're going to go to Duke and NC State, and that's only within a couple of weeks of each other. So very, very interesting. Also, if you're looking at ticket prices for that, folks, as usual, Notre Dame prices are always the most expensive.
George.
Folks, I'm not reading that, but I did click on it so everyone can say what he say. Read what he said.
George
of the Jungle.
You had the wrong name,
George, are you at work right now? Are you at work right now? And you probably tell them you're taking a bathroom break and that you've got stomach issues and you're watching my show.
Let's be real. When we take a bathroom break, we're still working while we're in there.
Oh yeah. Some of my most difficult work, blood, sweat, and tears, has been in the restroom. So, George says, "Yes, I can hear you." So that means he's at work right now, folks. Yeah, Notre Dame and NC State. I will tell you this: I'm going to ask.
That's gonna be a
this
Hey
prime
boys,
time game.
I'm gonna.
I
I'm
bet
gonna.
that will be a
I
prime
want
time
to
game.
definitely continue this, but I'm gonna have to jump off. If you're back on later, shoot me a holler.
He's going to have to go shoot that horse because somebody broke its leg. I know it.
Don't talk about Sarah like that.
Oh, that is awful. Chase, ladies and gentlemen, the first time the Henderson sisters has been on either of my channels at one time. Here they are, the glorious, wonderful. You look at both of them, you can tell they hate the other, but in a loving
Always
way.
repping here. You always got
Always
rep.
repping.
Right
Look
there.
at that. Look at that. He's got that on his underwear.
I told you that in confidence.
You did, but I just told everyone else.
It was a confession.
Chase, thanks for hopping on.
All right, guys.
I got to have you two gals on here. Go have some birthday cake.
Bourbon sounds good.
Well,
Bourbon, that's exactly what I said.
All right, bye guys.
I hope
See you,
you do
buddy.
another video because I mean I can stay on or I can get off. I don't care.
No,
Somebody,
stay.
how many people are on this channel? I can't see. It won't let me see.
We have 9 on. George says he's coming on.
Do it, George. Do you want me to get off, George?
No.
There he is.
No.
George,
No, don't get off. Stay there.
what the crap, George? How's it
What?
going, George?
Good. Hey, do you see
Wait,
how I
is that
spelled my
George?
name?
Yes, it's George.
It's like I put that word Eeyore in the middle of it. You know Eeyore from Winnie the Pooh?
Yes.
Wait, but isn't that how you're supposed
You don't
to
know
spell
Eeyore?
George?
Yes, I know Eeyore.
Yeah,
my
he's
ba-
always going, it's going to rain. It's not going to work. We're all going down. Eeyore.
He's my favorite character.
George, I have a question for you. Were you on the
Yeah,
Mark
I love
Rogers
the guy.
show the other day? Were you on the Mark Rogers show?
I did. Yes, I did have some insightful comments for Mark.
Well, hold on one second.
We were talking about. Go ahead.
Just 1 second, George. Sorry about that. First of all, everybody, this is the first time I've ever seen George. I did not even know that you existed. I thought that someone was playing around,
Chat
but
GPT.
you exist. With that said, Chase Henderson hopped back on here just to be able to see you. That's a big deal. So we got Parker here. We got George. We got week 2, 2023 college football. So George, keep talking.
You're blocking my picture with those comments on the screen. Take the comments off the screen. I can't see myself.
There you go.
That's better.
Beautiful human being.
Oh,
Glorious. Glorious.
I'm going to be 63 in a couple of months.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, I'm not going to be 63 for another 23 years, God willing.
You know, 63 used to be like you're a 40-year-old, but due to the state of our nation in modern pharmacology, it's like 84 now. Everyone I knew that was 63 was like a teenager. They could run, jump up on the back of the pickup truck, grab a couple bales of hay, throw them to the cows. Now 63 is like getting old. They're wearing me out, man.
You know what you got to do? You got to tell. You've got to tell them I can't do this anymore.
Quit watching the news. That'll take care of half of it.
Yeah. Don't watch the news. Well, hey, listen.
The news is stressing me out, man.
how am I supposed to get angry? Watch the news, George.
Huh?
I was saying, how am I supposed to get angry if I don't watch the news?
Exactly.
My life's perfect.
If you're doing some kickboxing or something, definitely watch the news right before you go on. Get y'all riled up.
Little dummy bag.
Well, hey guys, let's hop in.
That's good.
Let's hop in here real quick. Back to the schedule. Glad to have George on, everybody. Got Parker Henderson. Just had the Henderson sisters together. I'm surprised they didn't do a little tap dance number for us. That would have been great. We got Wisconsin at Washington State. It's not anything to write home about. It's just a really odd game.
Honestly, but Brian,
What's the question?
again, you have Big Ten versus what was that? Pac-12.
Yeah.
I have no idea. I mean, last time I looked, Wisconsin was mediocre, and so was Washington State. I think Washington State had like a above 500.
Yeah.
I think that. And where is that? It's at Washington State. I have no idea. They have cool uniforms. That's all I got.
We'll jump on down to Utah at Baylor. Utah, one of the great teams to be ranked preseason top 10, blow it, have a good season in the Pac, then go to the Rose Bowl and yet again blow it. So they bookend their seasons with losses. George, what's your thoughts on that?
Yes, I agree.
George, you're supposed to give more commentary than that, but hey, we'll go with it. UConn. Now, let me tell you this. Go ahead.
No, I agree.
UConn at Georgia State is not a big game, but UConn is a team that I'm paying attention to this year. Why? Because Mora's the coach. UConn has been terrible, except for those Edsel years. I think that was his last name. And Mora took over UConn. They started off kind of rough, and then they got their footing under them. And so I'm telling you, I think that UConn, no matter who they're playing, is going to be a pain in the butt. This might be, I'm not going to say it's going to be another Tulane, folks, but don't be shocked if it is. It's up there.
Hey, who's Georgia playing second week? Miss Molly School for the Blind? Who are they playing?
Miss Molly School of the Blind. Let's see. I'm looking for Georgia. I can't find Georgia.
Yeah, exactly. Like the school they're playing, their number one course is underwater basket weaving. So
I can't find Georgia.
I know SEC Dog is just like, wow, typing.
I would like for SEC Dog to get on here.
I'm just messing.
Because I
But the fact that Georgia's not on there is, what's going on?
So they play on September the 9th, which should be this weekend. I guess I've overlooked it, against Ball State. That's
okay, but I think the SEC is manipulating these schedules so that we always have a team in the finals. We give somebody such an easy schedule, nobody gets injured, everybody's fresh at the end of the year. They got Ball State and the Mississippi State School for the Blind, and I don't even know how you can get through the SEC with a schedule like that. Damn! Well, come on, Tennessee, beat them.
Well, here's the thing about, well, for instance, with this whole issue with Clemson going into the SEC, I had someone reach out to me, and you can go, folks, you can go on my video where I talk about Clemson and Florida State possibly leaving because the whole renegotiation, the whole Magnificent Seven, as it was stupidly called, trying to break the contract. And in that, I talked about how I want Clemson to go to the SEC. In that, someone put on the comments, and you can scroll through there and see it for yourselves, folks, that someone warned me that Clemson would only win 60% of their games in the SEC. Now, folks, I'm just going to tell you, the SEC has been the best football conference for many, many years. There's a lot of respect here.
There's
but
three
I want to
teams.
I want to make it very clear to anyone who is losing their mind over the SEC. You have Georgia, Alabama, and then you have good teams, but not great teams. And then you have some really terrible teams. And then you have a schedule like we just saw there, which I'm okay if they want to get their footing under them. But don't act like the SEC is playing world-class games week in and week out. That's just a lie.
Listen, how would Clemson ever survive against Vanderbilt?
Yeah.
God.
Yeah.
That's one team who that's one team. I know they're afraid of South Carolina. So it gets harder after Vanderbilt. You feel that good about Mississippi State? Those are weaker teams. Missouri, they might all beat you.
Wait, who's afraid? What?
I'm just saying, even our weaker teams might beat you on any given year.
Well, yeah. I mean, I guess it's possible.
Upsets are possible, but I
Yeah.
will tell you this: the number one critique of Clemson has been schedule. When the year that we lost the national championship the first time, and that was Deshaun Watson. He was a sophomore. We played one of the, if not the toughest schedule in the country.
And a great national championship game, mind you.
Even though we lost. And then the following year, won the national championship. So
great game, too.
The thought that I have there is that, yes, the SEC would be tougher than the ACC. But Missouri, not afraid of them. Kentucky, not afraid of them.
Texas
Ole Miss,
A&M.
not afraid of them. Mississippi
State.
Not afraid of them. Bama, definitely respect them.
Respect. Georgia,
have to bring your
LSU,
A game. You can't go out there and mess up. But I just, yeah.
But everybody else.
Do you see what SEC Dog has on the screen there? Can you read that?
Dogs had such an easy schedule last year. Their opponents had the best combined winning percentage in the nation. Try again, George.
Ooh,
is that true?
I think they did go undefeated.
They did go completely undefeated.
Yeah.
They did go undefeated, and I do respect what Georgia has done. SEC Dog.
Oh, yeah.
I tell you that. I do respect what they've done. Georgia has done a great job. Georgia is not three-peating this year.
No.
And I will tell you why they're not three-peating this year.
Todd Monken is why.
That's the reason why. And Georgia fans needs to accept something that Dabo Swinney is just now beginning to accept.
Yep.
Coaching hierarchy matters. Deion Sanders, the problem out there in Colorado is that everybody knows who Deion is. I don't know who his OC in DC is. And Nick Saban, love him or hate him, had that figured out a long time ago. He had that figured out a long time ago, that who is running your offense and your defense, even though Saban is calling defense, we know he's in charge. But whoever it may be, that is the person. That matters across the board. And that's the thing I look at with Georgia. You lost Monken, one of the best offensive coordinators and playing that I've seen in a long time.
Listen, I hate to cut you off. Listen, I live here and I do love this beautiful state of Georgia. But I live here in Georgia, and I was here, obviously, for the Bobo years. And I, countless times, gosh dang it, Bobo, Bobo, this, that, and the other. Like, and then finally, Todd Monken comes on. That's after they were like, did y'all see how we recruited this year? And then they were like, then they had their season, and Clemson winning national championship. Everybody else is winning national championship, but Georgia at that time. And then Todd Monken comes along and did his thing. Georgia, you got yours. Well done. Well done.
I have not seen someone call and SEC Dog.
But you got Mike Bobo back. So welcome back to the Stone Age.
SEC Dog just said this. I know, Bobby, and I agree we won't three-peat with Bozo, but we may get lucky.
No.
And, hey, let me tell you this, SEC Dog. You are one of the few that admits that, my friend.
Yeah, that is true. Respect.
That you're one of the few. That's one thing I like about you, is that you and I can talk total trash to each other for a long period of time, and then reality, we always come back to it. George, what are you doing?
I have an opinion on this.
Go for it.
I think it's very, very possible Georgia might three-peat.
Ooh.
We have never seen Georgia with a stud quarterback. Stetson Bennett was the closest we ever saw to them having a dependable quarterback. Now they're finally going to start some of these 4-stars and 5-stars they have. If one of those guys turns out to be good, they could easily run the table. They still have top 3.
George, they had Matthew Stafford. They had Matthew Stafford. They had DJ
back
Shockley.
in the day.
They had
back
AJ
in the
Green,
day.
or not AJ Green. What's his name? Green. Who's that quarterback? Last name Green. I can't remember his first name.
Shockley. You're thinking about Shockley years ago.
Well, no, DJ Shockley.
Who
was good. Then he had Matthew Stafford. He had Green. It was way back in the day. He was a good quarterback.
I'm talking about the Kirby Smart era.
I got you, but like we have to think of the Georgia era because it's all Georgia. The Kirby Smart era was Todd Monken, and now he's gone. So,
Folks, I'll
Well-
throw this out there. Well, go ahead, please.
I'm not, I'm the last guy that should be defending Georgia, but they have top 3
I
talents.
wanted.
All they need is a good quarterback. I have fond memories of growing up in Georgia and Alabama and Florida, by the way, but it's a nice state, good people. But as far as football goes, when you throw a national election and a special senatorial election, you get rewards.
We can't do this, George. We can't go politics.
All right, never mind, forget it.
Hey,
And they might they might be willing. They might do it again. They might win 5 national championships. Who knows?
It's possible, any given Saturday.
Well, George,
Yeah.
on the political side, as I say, we try to stay away from it, but I don't
I'm
disagree
just messing with you, man.
Listen, I don't disagree with you.
Thanks.
Right.
Anybody watches me, they have a pretty good idea. SEC Dog says this, and this is what I've been hearing from other people. I think Beck will be much better than Stetson, but Bozo worries me. Folks, here's the deal. You can have world-class quarterback play
Exhibit A.
and have poor coaching preparation, calling to audibles, adjusting strategy. Folks, that is, and I've had people tell me this about Bobo. He's going to run the same system as Todd Monken, and my reply is he will not make the same adjustments as Todd Monken. That matters. That is the difference, folks, in football, and it matters. Hopping on to just a couple other games, and we'll get out of here because there's many more to cover, but I'm not going to get to go through them all. Oh, man. Nebraska and Colorado, for anybody who's paying attention, Nebraska and Colorado, you have Matt Rule, first-time coach, former Panthers. A lot of people talked bad about him. He's at the Panthers. He was terrible. Folks, I don't know how anybody can coach a lot of those multi-millionaire babies in the NFL. He did great at Baylor. He took over a team who basically got the death penalty, but they were left on life alert or something. And he did quite well. Then you have the fighting Deion Sanders, where Deion says, I'm a coming. And what Deion is going to have to accept is nobody's going to care in a few years if he's not a winning. So here's the point. That's going to be a really good game. Go look at the ticket prices. I always like to look at the ticket prices for these games just to see what they're like. The ticket price for this Nebraska-Colorado game is already outrageous, folks. And we're here on Memorial Day weekend. Go check that out. It's crazy. That'll be an interesting game. I don't even know who's going to win that ball game. Let me see.
Hopefully Nebraska.
Yeah, that would be
Shut everything up. Just be like, good Lord.
Yeah. Furman at South Carolina, folks. Now, if you're outside of the state of South Carolina, you're going
Go Paladins.
You're going, Brian, you're an idiot. Well, yeah, I am. But I will promise you this. Furman Paladins will not lay down and die. This team had a really good season last year. They only lost, I think, 2 games in the regular season. One of them was Clemson. They got pretty far in the FCS playoffs. They've been a problem to South Carolina before. I know this is the Shane Beamer era, but I will promise you this. I don't think they're going to just go down there and be happy to be in Columbia, South Carolina. In fact, no one's happy to be in Columbia, South Carolina. So that'll be an interesting game. Let's see.
Hey, Brian, I'm gonna hop off. My son is starting to come out here, and he's throwing bears at me.
It's good to see you, Parker.
So, all right,
enjoy.
Take care, pal.
Nice.
George, it's you and I. The last game we're going to talk about right here, Appalachian State at North Carolina. This game last year went into overtime from what I can remember. It was a very high-scoring affair. North Carolina ended up winning the game, but this time Appalachian State goes to play against Drake May. But the thing for the Tar Heels, you must remember they have lost, most importantly, Josh Downs, one of the top wide receivers in the ACC and one of the top wide receivers in the country. So that's a target that's gone for him. Tell me what you think about North Carolina and Appalachian State's, Georgia.
I don't understand what's so hard about football. You throw the ball, the guy catches the ball. I don't get it. I don't understand why it's so difficult to throw the ball. Joe Burrows did it. He threw the ball. It was all the receivers. They caught the ball. And the only job of receiver is to catch the ball. I don't care if you're the new guy or you've been there 1 year. All your only job is to catch the damn ball, you know? So,
Well,
and I would be, yeah.
no, keep going,
Appalachian
please.
State's always tough.
Yeah, that's
But
tough.
yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
No, it's Appalachian State is a tough team to play no matter what year, no matter when they were in FCS, when they transitioned over into FBS. They've always been a tough team to play. And so
My team
we're not
always
Milwaukee
has
Bucks.
tops. The Gators are always like top 10 talent, usually around number 7 in the country. I wouldn't want Appalachian State on my schedule every year. One little mistake and you lose. You know, those are some gritty football players. They always play that way every year, forever. How do they do it? I can't get over them beating Michigan a couple years ago.
Well,
They
the interesting thing about Appalachian State is if you notice a lot of the coaches who has been there over the past 15 years, most of them are alumni. And they have great ties to the school. They've been there for a very long time in some role or another. And I know what Dabo Swinney has been going for at Clemson to try to make to make things, higher within and the culture and everything. But I want to make this very clear. You have to make sure those people can coach football. And at Appalachian State, they had Satterfield. Who was at Louisville. Well, he was at Appalachian State before this current coach. I can't remember his name for the life of me, but these guys have been in the program for a while, but they can coach football. Appalachian State is not a walk in the park. They can be a problem on any day. Of course, they had the big win this past year at Texas A&M. Hey, I don't care if Texas A&M is not that great. That was early in the season with a lot of expectation. It was a big.
There's no excuse for that. I'd have fired Jimbo right after the game. You'd be kidding me.
Yeah, I don't know what the deal is with him. Hey, George, I'm gonna let you go. We're gonna end the show. George, thanks for coming on. It's nice to meet you.
Same here.
We do have the show on. Just to remind you and the others, I'll hit this up just a second. Had the big show coming up Tuesday, the day after Memorial Day, 3:00 with Always Irish, 7:00 with Sports Talk. Jay, big.
One last question: is it Brian with a Y?
Brian with an I.
And is it Knight with a K?
Yes.
Okay, I got it. I never knew how to spell that. All right, Brian Knight. Nice to meet you too.
It's great to talk to you, George, after all these years. It's great to talk to you.
Same here, man.
Be good. Well, folks, that was George. Before you head out, everyone, week 2 has a ton of games. And as you can see, as any weekend, especially in the beginning of the year, you have a lot of crap games. Now, I want to make this very, very clear. I don't care if you're Georgia, if you're Clemson, if you're a team that I despise with all my heart, love, don't care about. I'll tell you this, and I mean this. I want you to have some cupcake games at the beginning. Why? Why would I want you to have cupcake games at the beginning? I know for the viewer, I know for the fan, it doesn't sound all so exciting, but just hang with me for a second. It's because once these teams begin to play the big dogs, the big games, the one that you are having to mortgage your child to go to a game because the tickets are so expensive. If you're going to put the money into it and fly across country, that's very expensive. Hotel room, you're probably going to enjoy your time there, eat somewhere really good. I can get expensive, but the whole reason for you doing that is because you want to see your team play that team, that team. And what I want is I want my team to have the beginning of the season kind of lost, miscombobulated, feel gone. I want them firing on all cylinders. I want them meshed so that when they do play that big team, they're ready. I want to see my team at its best. And for some of you, you're like, well, but still, I just don't like all that. I get it. I get it. I've argued against cupcake games as well. But in these first 2 to 3 weeks of college football, excluding week 0, I don't mind it if it puts my team in a place to compete better. That the receivers and the quarterback is on par. That the secondary is making the proper reads. That the coaches, we forget, they have to get the rust off too. That they're making the proper adjustments. Now, for instance, Clemson's going to play one pretty laid-back game. The very first game is Duke. And then after that, have what? Florida Atlantic, Charleston Southern. Then they play Florida State. Florida State, on the other hand, their very first game, LSU. They will have to show their playbook that night. They will have to show their playbook that Sunday. That's actually a Sunday game, the weekend of Labor Day. They're going to have to show their playbook. Clemson will get to watch their playbook because if they want to beat LSU, they're going to have to show it. Unless LSU is just a fart in the wind. All noise, all stink, no substance. Clemson, on the other hand, for 3 weeks should be able to line up the football, and with that four-headed monster that they have in the running back room that we've already saw, Adams, Thomas, obviously Moffitt and Shipley. Shipley being the star, Moffitt being the second back, and what a second back to have. They can just hand the ball off. And for everybody, including myself, who looks at the wide receivers and goes, man, I agree with you, we've got to get better at our wide receiver play. But counting the tight end, we have Bo Collins, we have, and he's bigger, physical, could be more physical. He had some injuries last year, but he still looked good. Wide receiver. Then you have Antonio Williams, true freshman out of Columbia, South Carolina. Last year, he came in and just tore it up. He's that home run, quick strike, outrun you. But he'll go up and possess the ball. You have him. Then you have the 6'6" tight end, Jake Brenningstole. So you have those players there. But Clemson should not have to show their playbook in their first 3 games to win those 3 games. In fact, they can just work on blocking, reads, running the ball effectively, getting out without any injuries, so they can get to the Florida State game without showing their playbook. But I like having some easier, glorified practice games and call it. And that's what I hope, because college football doesn't have a preseason. It doesn't have a preseason. I wished it did. I think it'd be a lot of fun. But week 2 shows us we have Alabama and Texas. That will be the big game of the weekend. That will be an interesting game where one team who, no matter how much money they pour into their football program, they can't win at the level that they're paying for it. Their return on investment is terrible. It is the equivalent of dishing out the money for a Ferrari and someone giving you a 1997 Buick. Texas has tried to buy the best team through NIL. They can't do it. Saban, on the other hand, who knows when he's going to retire? That'll be the big one. Of course, Colorado, Nebraska. I will tell you this, folks. I will tell you this, and you can take this to the bank. If this game comes down to coaching, do not be shocked when Matt Rule wins it. Because though I respect Deion Sanders as one of the best athletes to play anything, and I see him as a fantastic competitor, and I admire his marketing skills. What Deion is going to be, I won't say taught because he's been around sports way longer than any of us. But what he'll be reminded is that when you're the coach of a team, you have to make calls. Your coaches matter. If this game comes down to coaching, Matt Rule most likely will win that game. Remember that. Once again, hit the subscribe button. If you hadn't already, hit the thumbs up. Just to let you know also, we will be, as I said, I will be having my first guest on this coming Tuesday at 3 o'clock. 3 o'clock this coming Tuesday, the day after Memorial Day. Always Irish. We're going to be talking Notre Dame football. We're going to talk about Clemson. I'm going to ask him why Marcus Freeman, because that doesn't make sense. I'm not saying he's a bad coach, but I'm just saying Notre Dame, it's almost like they're just trying to get a value coach, someone that they see promise in, but they don't want to go for the big dog. And I don't know if that's, of course, I'm a Clemson fan first, but I'm just saying it just doesn't make sense. Considering 1988 was the last national title that they had. No disrespect, it's just the truth. Then at 7 o'clock, I have Sports Talk Jay coming on, big volunteer fan. So y'all come on for that. So folks, I am going to leave you with the very song that opened this up, but it's from Bobby Durkin's Peck Your Dookie Chicken. Folks, I hope you enjoy this.
Go ahead and peck your dookie chicken, go do what you do best. Go ahead and peck your dookie chicken and the tigers will do the rest. Take the fish out of water and try to make it drive the car. Even if you're drunk, you know we won't get too far. Just like those chickens from Columbia trying to play football, we'll rip their bloomers off and strangle them with their jaws. So go ahead and peck your dookie chicken, go do what you do best. Go ahead and peck your dookie chicken and the tigers will do the rest. Put grandma in a bikini and put her in a whole contest. You'd rather have your eyes burned out instead of seeing that mess. Like those losers from Columbia in the armpit of the state, running their mouth, pissing people off, claiming there's something they ain't. And go ahead and peck your dookie chicken, go do what you do best. And go ahead and peck your dookie chicken and the tigers will do the rest. Oh, go ahead and peck your dookie chicken, go do what you do best. And go ahead and peck your dookie chicken and the tigers will do the rest. You know Clemson plays great football, without a doubt. Oh yeah, but you boys are really good at eating dookie. Oh, for a snack, 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 snack. Oh, so go ahead and peck your dookie chicken, go do what you do best. And go ahead and peck your dookie chicken and the tigers will do the rest. Come on, sing it, y'all. And go ahead and peck your dookie chicken, go do what you do best. And go ahead and peck your dookie chicken and the tigers will do the rest. The rest, the rest, the rest, rest.